All right, we're on the roof now. This roof has about a 212 pitch, which is 212 pitch is pretty shallow. Certainly it can work, but it's not easy to keep water out when you're working with such a shallow pitch. So you have a 212 pitch to begin with. The roof is laid out with about a 30-foot panel from the eave up to here. You see this seam right here. Where are we at here? Hard to see in the screen. We have a 30-foot panel up to the seam. And then here you can see right here is the edge of an individual panel. Now this panel travels 3 feet to 40 some inches up to that point right there. If you can see the next seam right here. So these panels in width terms are somewhere around 36. The panels in width terms are somewhere around 36 to 42 inches, I'm guessing, without taking this apart. So you're 30 feet from the eave up to here. The panels are 36 to 40 some inches wide, and then from here up it's about 21 feet to the eave. I'm sorry, to the ridge. And at the ridge, in other words, this panel comes up here and it ends somewhere in the middle here. Maybe not right up to the top, but certainly somewhere in here. And then you have the ridge cap that goes over top. You can see this, the bolts right here, bolts over there. This is about a 5 or 6 foot ridge cap that spans over the top. So that's how this roof is constructed. Now, I did get the, I did find the label. It was on the front of the building, right at the gable. They're always right there, but someone had painted over it and no one could find it. So fortunately it was fiberglass. I cut it out, and I'm bringing it back because it's just too fragile. It's got to be 40, 50 years old or something. It's too fragile to get the paint off up here and try to read a name so we can find out if this roof is still available. You can see I cut it out right here. It was sitting right in here. So cut that out, bring it back and look at it. You know, the smoke damage on the inside. This building is broken into 4 sections. From the front to the first main wall is the dog area, and then there's an auction area past that, and then there's 2 more storage areas past that. And it's all consistent in roof and insulation. But each one of those rooms is separated by a vertical wall that goes right up to the bottom of the roof. So it's hard to understand how that smoke got all the way through. Of course it's going to infiltrate to some degree, but really just from a casual observation, it looks like the last 2 sections don't have much smoke damage, if any at all. So I don't know what the claim is extending back that far for. That's not for me to figure out, but I'm here to figure out how we can get this roof off without doing the whole thing. And I think what you can certainly do is come back past this fire damage area, you know, in here somewhere, maybe 40 or 50 feet in, and even if the panels don't quite marry exactly, you could have something shop fabbed that would marry in with this and certainly keep it watertight. So in other words, if you get something that's close from the front edge, maybe back 40 or 50 feet, I haven't figured that out yet, and then custom fabricate something in here that would marry from the new panel to the old panel, well, that's the That's the practical answer. Aesthetically, you can't see this roof from the ground. It's impossible to see. So I don't see how that could be a problem. So if we did that in this area here, what you'd be talking about, assuming you can clean from the auction area back without having to get involved in any of that stuff, as far as insulation goes, you could certainly put the same kind of insulation up in this area, or spray foam. Either way, yeah, I have to talk to Joe on this. I'm not really clear as to what the reasoning is here. I'm just kind of getting my feet on the ground and trying to understand why this whole roof has to come off. You can see that storage area back there is unheated with all the snow on it. I guess they're saying that because the insulation underneath got smoked, and since it's integrated with the panels, that the panels need to be replaced too. And that's where you're going to have to, you know, see if someone can clean that insulation. First of all, you're going to have to argue the case that it doesn't need to be replaced, and that would, I guess, maybe get someone out to test the surface and see if there's how much smoke is truly on it, do an acid test or some kind of chemical test, I don't know. And then, you know, work it from there. But certainly, practically, there's no reason to replace this whole roof unless I'm missing something. So I'm going to gather a profile of this panel so that I can hopefully find it. But even as I say, it's not critical because you can always shop fab something that'll marry for the 100 feet that you need, or 110 feet you need from the eave to the other eave. And as I say, you can't see this roof, so if it's slightly off, it's not a big deal.